Hey, welcome back to the channel. This video is mainly about the concrete work. Show you a little bit of the shuttering work that I did, reinforcement, and the laying of the concrete, pumping of the concrete. We had 6 full loads of concrete, 46 cube I think it was. So yeah, let's get to it. Right, as you can see here, we've got all the shuttering in place. It's 200mm thick, 200mm high, 4x2 shuttering, finished with ply on one side, nailed down or pinned to the floor all the way around the edges of the site. We've got 2 layers of rebar meshing, 395, 396, I can't remember. Anyway, that's in 2 different levels, one 40mm from the base and one 40mm from the top. So you've got one sitting at 40mm, one sitting at 160mm. Here we've shown one of the main drains, water pipe drains running across the site. That's buried in concrete for the full length of the width of the build. It's haunched in certain sections just to keep the pipe from floating when you start putting concrete in. The total depth of that area could be 300, 400 mil, so quite a lot of concrete will disappear into that. The pipe's completely surrounded. This is me about to spend probably the best part of 2 days on my knees tying rebar. Extremely long-winded process. Takes a lot of time. Yes, there's quicker ways to do it. There's tools that you can use. I had the wire, I had the time, so I just got to the best I could. With hindsight, I would have probably bought different ties. I could just put the ones with a loop in it, and you could just put a tool into it, and then you just pull, and that's it. All the rebar is tied together, and all the up risers are actually tied to the rebar. In theory, you don't need to do as much as that, but when you're moving about on the steelwork, when you're ready to pour the concrete, there's nothing worse if some of the rebar pops back up out the hole again, and you're trying to fight it to get it down. Or one of the stanchions that are used to hold the rebar up, falls over and the rebar drops down. That means it's at the wrong height. These are the guys that came to do the pumping for us. Arrived early in the morning, 7 o'clock. Escort Pumping Services, I think it's called. Really good guys. They're on time. Full communications with us just to get it organised. Got laid up very quickly in terms of all the pipe work. Big unit. I think he was saying that this outfit is about £180,000, which is a lot of money. Before we start the concrete pour, we were just soaking down the area prior to the pour. This is to stop the concrete disappearing, the moisture in the concrete pulling out too quickly. So just soak the grounds. It just slows the process of your concrete drying, and you don't get as many cracks and things like that. So we'd already soaked most of the site down ready, so this was just literally before the concrete truck arrived. Really boards out for the hoses. Yeah, ready to more or less rock and roll. Here we go then, first truck of the day, ready for the concrete pump itself. 7 cube in this wagon. Doesn't take them long to set up. A few chutes on, get them all clipped into place, get the chute across and into the hopper at the rear of the concrete pump. These 3 guys are obviously not employed by me. So these are the 2 boys to deal with the concrete pumping and the mixer guy. So you just get the place ready to rock and roll. have a bit of chat, and you know, there we go. Well, that's the first concrete of the day getting poured into the hopper. The, the guy on the right there has a control for the pump, which controls the pump. So, and the guy that's on the mixer, he's controlling the flow out the mixer into the hopper. He will just keep that going at a certain rate. Alright, here's the guys. This is how simple it is. We're using, I've got all the pipe laid out, and we're using a vibrating poker. You don't want too much in terms of pokering, then it tends to separate the sand out at the bottom, but you can move your concrete about by just positioning the poker where you need it to go. So you'll see as I come near the end here, as soon as I touch it, the flow of the concrete just starts flowing out. Very powerful tool. It was in the spec or the engineer's drawings that the whole site was to be pokered anyway. So, but it was a great piece of kit for, excuse me, for just moving concrete about. The pump puts it roughly where you want it to be, so we could literally just let them pump away, and as you can see there, just as soon as we touch it, the level drops, it levels out the concrete pad. We're really not having to work the concrete that much. The two holes that you see here are not for a jacuzzi and a swimming pool. They are actually on the outside of the house, and it's just about saving concrete. There was two, these are under the ground, underneath the patio at the rear of the house. But the wall I'm working, this part I'm working on at the moment is the rear foundation wall for a retaining wall at the rear of the site. And then the legs are for supports for the roof, which will be above this area, but the actual house starts, further back to the rear there. So as you can see, it quickly moves concrete about when you're working with that poker. Great tool. It's one off I think it's a 110 one, that will just put it through a converter box. And yeah, minimal amount of work required. You're not needing rakes, you're not needing guys with shovels pushing stuff about. Just if you can use your poker right, you can literally let it flow into the place. The guys are pumping it the right places. They've done this thousands of times. They know what they're doing, unlike me. I think they were getting a bit annoyed at some points because I was chasing the concrete away from them too quickly. So, they've filled up a whole hole and got it up to level, and I touch it with the poker and it flows out really quickly. So, part of the fun. But I learned just to keep away from them, let them get their fill right. And yeah, the guys at the back are just doing his thing, keeping the hopper filled up off the mixer. I've got a little bit of help coming here on my son. He's going to be holding one end of the poker because it's a fairly heavy old thing to be dragging around all day. So you can see just a constant flow coming in, more or less what's the same as what's going out, so it just keeps a constant level. If it goes down a bit, then you can just increase the flow rate on the drum, or if the guy who's at the end of the pipe, he's got a remote, so he can stop the pump from wherever he is on the site. So if they want to manoeuvre the pipe work about, they can just stop. Obviously the guy working the mixer, he's just keeping an eye on the levels, just keep it at a certain level, keep it going. And if they stop, it's relatively simple. When he runs out, they'll just give them a toot, lets them know that, that's the last that's going into the hopper. They will go for a little bit and then they'll stop and wait for the next load to come. As you can see, it's fairly runny when it comes out through the pump. It's a great mix. C35 is the, or C30 I think, C30 or C35 is the concrete mix. Quite a strong mix for this pad. A bit over-engineered if you ask me, but that seems to be the way they do concrete nowadays, or certainly for the engineer side. Yep. This is one of our friends came along to give us a bit of help with just a tap down just to level off the concrete pad. We don't need this particular level. Well, we need a level, but we don't need a finished surface on it. It's a concrete pad on grade. It will be 200 and 300 mil below ground level when we're finished, so it'll never be seen again. It's only just to lay blockwork onto, insulation onto the top of, so it doesn't need a particularly great finish. Obviously, if it does, you need to spend more time working with concrete, floats and all the rest, whereas this is actually fine. This is a little tool I got made up at the local engineer's shop, relatively simple, not too wide, I think it's about 1.2 metres. I'm just showing the guy here, just he's never done this before, so I'm just showing him how to do it. Just tap it down, bring the cream up to the top, and just don't walk on it again. So we're just doing it in strips across the site. Here we go again. Now our load has arrived. This is our second load of the day. Son Lewis is helping with the poker, just keeping it out of the concrete as much as possible, and just keeping in front of me. Very quick process. I mean, the whole pour only took us about, I think it was about 4 hours. It was finished up. It started about 7 in the morning when the guys with the pump arrived. I think the first lorry was here about 8, and then we quickly just kept on pumping it in. And you can see with the cross pipe that's running, the drain that's running there, the orange drain, it swallows a lot of concrete. So here we've got our engineer doing sign off, or no, engineer, architect doing sign off. He signs off all, make sure that we're doing it exactly as it should be done, making sure that the concrete's the right thickness, it will not skimmed anywhere, that it's been laid and pokered in throughout the site. That's part of your, I can't remember what they call it in Scotland. It's basically insurance that your house is built to the specifications that were set out. So they check every main vent, and this is one of them. He'd already been on site the day before, checked the height of the mesh, checked the shuttering. Excuse me. Also, we'd had the building standards officer there to make sure that, again, everything was done to spec. Here we go, it's just a simple tap, bring the cream up to the top, level it off, just keep walking backwards, hit your footing, because it's pain when you stick your foot between the rebar. Because it's quite wet, and we're doing it quite quickly after the pour, it's quite easy to get a reasonably nice finish. And so we don't want a beautiful smooth finish, we're putting insulation will be going on the top of that. We don't want any sharp, we don't want any holes or things like that, but it doesn't need to be a polished finish for this part of the job. We need a good footing for the blockwork, which will go in later for the walls. Yeah. These pipes are actually outside drains. for the rainwater goods, but they're just cast through the slab because otherwise they'd be in the way. Or the slab would be in the way for the pipework. There you go. Guys washed up, ready to rock and roll. Each wagon has to be washed out, drum has to be washed and then emptied, and we just have an old lid that everybody can wash the spent concrete into, and then get rid of one, wait for I think the next one's the last one that's coming. So yeah, there's the last one just arrived now, and we've just got that final quarter at the top there to fill in. The guys there got to do a great job, shorten the pipe as you go, as they come back out of the pour. Yeah, really good lads. They're on time, done the job, no mumps and moans, just perfect. Price is reasonably good for, considering they came quite a long way to do this for us. We'll be seeing them again later on in the build because we've still got another floor to lay. After we've done all our insulation inside the house, we'll have a 75mm screed inside the house, slightly different from this concrete mix, but yeah, same guys. I think it's a different pump they use for that, but the same company that supplies it for us. So we're getting near the end. This is a big achievement. Never really stopped. The mixers came regular, just kept on pumping it. Continuous pour. Let's see, I think these guys are all finished up by, I think a rough sight by 1 o'clock. So yeah, so we started 7 in the morning when they arrived. They came all the way from Airdrie, which is a fair old distance for them to travel. 2 guys for half a day with a machine. I think it was around about £1,000. Don't quote me on that. I'm sure it'll be different wherever you go or how long it's going to take them to get into site. But the amount of effort you would have had to make to lay 45 cube of concrete with wheelbarrows, the amount of men you would require, it would have been just not undoable, but really difficult. So well worth the money. The guy with the hat on, he's Davey. He's the boss. Young lad is his helper. We're getting near the end now. Woohoo! Fantastic just to see that again, because when you're doing it, it's just all hands on board, and you just pumping concrete and rattling around all day, working away. So yeah. As you can see with the poker, when it hits a concrete, it just vibrates. It's just a vibration pole, and it's quite a powerful one because it's amazing how far it travels to level off the area around about. So this is just the last piece going in, the last piece of vibrating done. There we go. Hey ho, all done. In some of the shots it doesn't look that big, but it's a big old pad. It's 22 metres long and 9.5 metres wide. Hey, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, follow on for the next one. Start building the house. Thank you.